Shetima, just as there are a lot for Nigerians to gain from the other candidates of other political parties. It is left for Nigerians to decide who the promises they believe and they are sure we pay them. So the decision on who to vote for lies solely with the electorate. Yes, the political parties and their candidates and their members must sell themselves to Nigerians, and then the decision is for Nigerians to look through the promises and decide on who to go with.
All right. Now let's move to the Daily Times with the Daily Times newspaper with this headline: "Nobody can blackmail me on illicit enrichment." That is coming from President Buhari.
Yeah, I think when he's out of office, we will know. Yes, because he's in office. He's not going to tell us that he has done some bad things. It is when he's out of office that the agencies that have been established to look into corrupt practices and accusations can come up to give him a clean bill of still being our Mr. Integrity. But so far so good. I've not seen any serious breach by the present president of Nigeria. I think so far so good.
Now, let's move to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Article discusses economy, security with UK government officials.
That is good. It's good. But then we want to know, we should discuss it more with Nigerians. We should tell us how precisely he plan to fix Nigeria's economy, how he intends to solve the security challenges that presently confronts us as a nation, as a people.
Now,
and how he intends to unite Nigerians. Yes. Because without unity, he can't talk about security, and he can't talk about fixing the economy.
All right, let's go to the New Telegraph newspaper. 45 days to presidential poll. Fringe parties yet to commence campaigns.
I don't want to repeat myself. Like I said earlier, most of them are actually not serious about the election. Most of them exist only on the pages of papers and then in Abuja. But when you go down to state capitals, senatorial district areas, and then down to local governments areas, you see that they are non-existent. So I don't know. We still have to do something about sanitizing the number of parties, reducing, doing something to bring it to the barest minimum. Let it come down to just the serious ones. If there are 3 serious political parties in Nigeria, let us know that there are 3 serious political parties. If there are 4, if there are 5, what's the essence of having 18 political parties that merely exist on the pages of newspapers? We want them to be physically present so that they can also, and then we don't also feel their presence. They don't act as opposition. They are not putting the ruling party on its toes, and that is why the electorate also do not hold political office holders accountable.
All right, let's move to the Daily Trust newspaper. Locks trail INEC statement on elections postponement cancellation.
I think INEC should not be talking to Nigerians, should not be making noise about cancelling or postponing the election. They should be discussing how to prevent acts that can make the postponement, make it necessary for the election to be postponed or cancelled. They should work with the government. They should make demands for whatsoever that has to be put in place to ensure that the election is not postponed. Their job is to conduct elections. They are to ask for everything they need to ensure that the election takes place as at when due.
Now,
because telling us this is making Nigerians to lose confidence and also to become apprehensive about the election. And then we're thinking of that by this year 2023 that the number of voters that will come and the turnout of voters will be impressive with the amendment of the Electoral Act. But with this noise coming from INEC, talking about insecurity, talking about possibility of cancelling or postponing the election, it's like telling Nigerians that look, we're really not serious about this coming election and discouraging those who are thinking of coming out not to come out. However, the federal government must also do everything possible to reduce the news that people were kidnapped at the railway station is enough to send cold shivers down our spine.
Now, let's move to the leadership newspaper and see the related story. 45 days to go. Federal government dismisses threats to 2023 elections.
That's a good one. But beyond dismissing it, they should do everything to boost our confidence and make us believe that, because it is the constitutional responsibility of the government to ensure that lives and property are protected. So they should do everything to assure us that our lives and property will not be at stake. It will come out on election day. And it is, if there's no, if INEC, as they have said, not sure of the security of their personnel, not only of the electorate, of their own personnel. We have had the number of attacks that have taken place, the number of INEC offices that have been destroyed, and then now the news about the abduction of Nigerians at a railway station, and then the kidnaps and attacks has continued. So the federal government must do everything to ensure that their act as far as the security situation in the country is concerned, to boost our morale and give us confidence that the election will take place as at 20.
All right. Now, let's move to the Blueprint newspaper now. At APC rally in Yobe, Buhari says, I am a novel. Education got me enlisted into the army.
Yeah, I'm glad that he made it, because I believe that the circumstances of our death should not determine the heights we attain in life. And I also believe that education is a bedrock of development. It's a leveler. It levels the ground between the rich and the poor. And that is why this government must do everything to fix education. Before, yes, some people will say that just 4 more months, so just about 5 or 4 more months to go for this administration. But within the 4 and 5 months, a lot can be done. And Nigerians, well-to-do Nigerians, very rich Nigerians, instead of establishing event centers, petrol stations, should please add value to the society by investing in public education. They can do something to help the government, because government, I will be fooling myself if I believe that government alone can do it. Government alone cannot do it. They need the support. Government need the support of well-meaning Nigerians in fixing the challenges with education. It is not about you establishing your own private university, your own private schools. No. Support government to provide qualitative, inclusive education for Nigerians.
Yeah. Now, let's have this story on the Guardian newspaper. Naira redesign policy comes under pressure.
Yes, because the noise is out there. The deadline for the swapping of the old Naira notes to the new one is the 31st of January. Today is I think the 10th, or the 11th of January.
Yeah.
And yet, banks are still dispensing the old Naira notes. How many people? I have not seen the new Naira notes. I've not touched it. So I'm not sure that deadline we still stand.
Yeah.
ATMs are still said to be dispensing the old Naira notes. CBN is saying that you can't get a new Naira note across the counter. That it can only be dispensed by the ATM. ATM isn't dispensing the new Naira notes. ATMs are still dispensing the old Naira notes. So how do we go from there?
All right. Let's have a related story above the nameplate of this day newspaper. CBN threatens to sanction banks over failure to load ATMs with new banknotes.
I just said it that ATMs are still dispensing the old Naira notes. If they decide to sanction, how many banks are they going to sanction? And then how will they ensure that it is in all their branches?
Okay.
How will they enforce? It's not enough to come up with talk about sanctions. How do you implement it? How do you get it done? How do you get them sanctioned? How do you evaluate and monitor what they do? Does CBN have enough personnel to do that? Will they be going around all bank branches to ensure compliance?
Okay. Now let's have a story on the Business Day newspaper. 6 in 10 customers talk with crazy bills.
IBEBC.
These schools.
I really do not say. Nigeria is a very funny country. A very funny country. Before the National Electric Power Holding Abi, I can't even remember the name now, was privatized. They had issues with crazy bills, which we assumed was going to stop as soon as it was privatized.
Yeah.
But alas, that hasn't happened. The prepaid meter or the what's the name of the meter that they are supposed to distribute that pay as you
prepaid.
The prepaid meter corruption is not allowing us to know how it is being distributed. How many houses have been metered? Because it is only when that is done that one can escape from crazy bills. But now we are at the mercy of the discos, of the different distribution companies.
Yeah.
They charge us as they wish. And since they enjoy the monopoly in their respective areas, we do not have a choice. We can't even win the argument with them. Because there are unwritten laws, unknown laws that they operate with. That it is only when you go to the offices they start telling you this. We need every house should be metered. Every house. That's the only way to go about it, and to prevent corruption. So many people have paid for the prepaid meters that have not been given. Some have even been paid to fraudsters. All of that ought to have been taken into consideration and prevented. Acts of fraudulent practices ought to have been prevented, to have been made impossible while designing the policy.
Okay.
But that wasn't there. So we're still at the mercy of the distribution companies.
All right, let's see these stories on above the nameplate of the Nation newspaper. DSS wants to come to intimidation, harassment.
Want to come?
DSS wants to come to intimidation, harassment.
Okay. I see no reason why anybody in Nigeria should be harassed and intimidated. Yeah. But unfortunately, that is what happens on a daily basis. It is not only DSS officials that get harassed and intimidated. Ordinary Nigeria, you can imagine if a whole head of DSS is being intimidated and harassed. Close your eyes and imagine what happens to ordinary citizen like me. I get harassed and intimidated on a daily basis just for demanding justice for Nigerians. So close your eyes and imagine what is happening to the vulnerable members of the society. They get unnecessarily harassed, traumatized, and intimidated on a daily basis. That was what resulted in the death of Omobolanle Rai. They are so, and the souls of our unborn twins continue to rest in peace. This act of impunity must come to an end. And it is not only government that can put it to an end, that can bring it to an end. All religious leaders must speak against it. All traditional rulers must speak against it. And Nigeria Orientation Agency too must come up with programs that will address that issue of this culture of impunity. We must get rid of it in our system. Yeah,
let's quickly see this story before we round it up for today. Judiciary won't be manipulated under me, says CJN Ariwola.
I look forward to that being happening. I don't want to comment about some things that I've seen that has happened that really troubled my heart about justice in Nigeria. Getting justice in Nigeria is like a cow passing through the eye of a needle. It's painful. It's painful because how do you get the case properly investigated? How do you ensure that corruption does not come to play in dispensing justice?
All right. Thank you, Citizen Lola, for making it today. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, viewers at home, this is where we are going to round it up for today. On this, on our edition of newspapers today. So tomorrow is another day when you meet another of my colleagues on the same program, same time tomorrow. Until then, I am Kayode Adebayo. Bye-bye.
Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo ṣọlẹ̀ mo sọ ìbò títí mo bá sáré mi kẹ́tì ajá ọgbẹ́ láṣẹ di ẹ̀ lórí òun. Good morning sir, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning ma, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning sir, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning ma, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Oúnjẹ òyìnbó kì í ṣe ti bàbá mi, èyìnbó tí bàbá mi mú kọ́. Ṣé bómi gbóná ní gbogbo àjọ rìn, àjọ bẹ̀ láṣẹ di ẹ̀ lórí òun sótọ́. Good morning sir, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning ma, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning sir, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning ma, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Ẹ̀wù òyìnbó kì í ṣe ti bàbá mi, èyìnbó wọ súùtù bàbá mi wọ kẹ̀mbẹ́. Ṣé báṣọ ni gbogbo wa jọ ń wọ̀? Àjọ bẹ̀ láṣẹ di ẹ̀ lórí òun. Good morning sir, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning ma, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning sir, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning ma, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Ìjọ òyìnbó kì í ṣe ti bàbá mi, èyìnbó jó breakings máa yára ju bàtà. Ṣé bẹ́sẹ̀ ni gbogbo wa fi túlẹ̀? Àjọ bẹ̀ láṣẹ di ẹ̀ lórí òun. Good morning sir, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning ma, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning sir, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Good morning ma, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀. Ibi máa rẹ̀ máa yára gbé ilẹ̀ mi lárugẹ. Ẹlẹ́rù òní tìjú, ọmọ ní fọwọ́ sí ju ẹlẹ́wà. Ẹlẹ́rù òní bí síbi jẹyọ, wọ́n mọ̀ fi ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ kẹ́ni ó bá jù mí lọ. Ẹ̀rù ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn èèyàn mi máa yára sọ èdè mi sí. N ò ní máa dígbọ́ fún ẹ, mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ èdè mi, mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ ilẹ̀ mi. Àwọn èèyàn mi ti dára tó, ibi orí dá mi sí ni mò ń gbé o. Èèwọ̀ àwọn ọmọ ṣe. Good morning Èdùmàrè, àdúgbò mo gbọ́ yìí bọ̀.
ẹ sì káàbọ̀ sí tẹlifíṣàn ti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun 113 lórí StarTime bẹ́ẹ̀ ni 502 lórí free to air. Ẹ ní àǹfààní láti gbọ́ wa lórí gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀rọ ayélujára tí ó ń bẹ lórí YouTube ẹ rí wa wò ń bẹ, lórí Facebook ẹ tẹ̀, lórí WhatsApp náà ẹ rí wa wò ń bẹ, lórí gbogbo àwọn ètò wa gbogbo tí ó ń jáde ní móhùnmáwòrán ti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Ibẹ̀ ni mo ti ń kí pé ẹ kú ojúmọ́ ẹ kú ojúmọmọ ọdẹ òdùbí. Ètò yín náà ni ojúmọ́ ire, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ojúmọ́ àlàáfíà, ìlọsíwájú, ojúmọ́ ìṣerere, ojúmọ́ owó, ọmọ àìkú baálẹ̀ ọrọ̀ kó jẹ́ tiwa ní ọ̀dẹ̀ yìí. Ní gbogbo ojú tí ń wò mí, etí tí ń gbọ́ mi, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni á dára fún wa nínú ọdún tuntun yìí. Ètò kejì náà rèé nínú ọdún yìí. A dúpẹ́ ní ọwọ́ Ọlọ́run pé ó tún ṣọ́ wa di ọjọ́ òní. Ìkú ṣe nípa mímọ̀ ṣe wa, àánú òun náà ni a rí gbà. Mo gbà ládùúrà pé gbogbo ojú tó wò mí lénìí, àánú náà la máa rí gbà o. Oore ọ̀fẹ́ àti àánú Elédùmarè kò ní fi ilé wa, ọdẹ wa, iṣẹ́ wa kò ní fi sílẹ̀. Ààbò Ọlọ́run yóò máa dájú lórí wa ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá lọ. Ibi tí ojú àánú Ọlọ́run ò ní dé, ẹsẹ̀ wa wà ní yà síbẹ̀. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ ṣe àwò ojúmọ́ ire lètò. Ètò ní ojúmọ́ ire. Mo kí yín lórúkọ ọ̀gá pátápátá ilé-iṣẹ́ wa ń bí, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọ̀gbẹ́ni Abdulrasheed Fọlárànmí, ọ̀gá tí Ọlọ́run kó kọ́kọ́rọ́ iléeṣẹ́ yìí lọ́wọ́ fún wákàtí àti àkókò yìí tí ó ní kí yóò ó ní ṣe àlàáfíà lẹ́wà gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn náà ti wà. Pé pàtàkì ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn sí yín sá ẹni ṣé mo ń kọ́ lẹ́tà ni mo ṣe rán mi mo ṣe ń jẹ́. Pé pàtàkì ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn sí yín ni wípé ní tí ẹ̀ ń tà wọ́n ní kí ẹ gbé wá kí a bá yín polówó, ká bá yín fọ́n rere ẹ̀ fún ayé, kí ọbẹ̀ ta yín kí ó tà, kí ẹ fi gbogbo ara ṣe ajé bí iṣẹ́ ṣe ẹ̀ fún. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìṣe rédíò lẹ́ti fẹ́ ta ni, ó sì ṣe kalamísàn bí náà ní gbogbo àyè òun ló gbà yìí. Pẹ̀lú owó taṣẹrẹ, owó tí òògùn pa òun náà ni a fi da yín lò tí ayé mọ̀ tí ẹ̀ ta. Ọ̀gá tó mójú sí ètò gbogbo ní móhùnmáwòrán bí, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ọlásùnkànmí ọmọ Oyèbáyọ̀ àti igbákejì wọn Adésóyè Àwòdèjì, wọ́n ní kí yín pé àkúdédé àsìkò yìí, àsìkò ìfọmọnìyàn ṣe. Wọ́n lọ́dún tá a mú ọdún owó ni o, wọ́n ní ọdún ọmọ ni o. Fún àwọn táwọn àti ìbímọ tán ni kì í ṣe gbogbo àwọn àti bí àbàtẹ̀ 2 dozens 1 dozens o. Gbogbo àwọn táwọn ojú Olúwa fún owó kan tàbí èkejì, wọ́n ní Ọlọ́run ó dá wa lóhùn ayọ̀. Ibi tí bàtà ti ń ta wá lẹ́sẹ̀ yẹn, Èdùmàrè yóò bu òróró ìtura yóò bù síbẹ̀. Á dára fún wa, àárí bá ti ṣe, àárí ọ̀nà gbígbà. Lórúkọ gbogbo àwọn tí àjọ máa mú sèré wá sí ojú ìwòran yín. Èèyàn mi pàtàkì Olúwa James, ṣé dáadáa ní ṣe ẹ̀rọ yẹ Mama Dìbò wá ni ẹ̀yin náà ẹ fẹ́ nǹkan bíi níbi eléré ayọ̀ yóò dá fún yóò ti yé mi bó wá ní o. Àláyọ̀ kò ní sí wàhálà lágbára Ọlọ́run. Kárìn ìwọ náà nǹkan bó wá ní Kárìn, kò ní sí wàhálà lágbára Ọlọ́run, kò ní bẹ́ẹ̀ wúdé. Gbogbo táwọn ojú Ọlọ́run fún yẹn yóò dá wa lóhùn. Rẹ́mi o ṣeun o, Rẹ́mi o ṣeun. Àwọn nílà tí ń kọ́ tí ò tún ti ríṣẹ́ mí he, àmọ́ orí bá ti ṣe àmọ́ rọ́nà gbégbà lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa ètò yìí ni ojúmọ́ ire ní àkókò yìí. Ẹ wá nǹkan fìdílé tàbí kí ẹ fi ìdílé nǹkan ibo ló bá yín. Ní tí kan tí mo fẹ́ sọ láti bí ọjọ́ mẹ́ta mo dà pé bí ọjọ́ tó ti ń ṣe dáadáa, ó tún ti rí bákan báyìí. Ṣùgbọ́n gbogbo wa tá à ń jí jáde ńlé, ẹ jẹ́ á máa kíyèsára